For over a century, the pharmaceutical industry has operated on a single premise, known as chemical reductionism. If you have a biological symptom, you design a synthetic chemical to forcefully suppress it. You treat the human body like a machine, and you hit it with a chemical hammer. This diagram outlines the problem with that blockade approach. Because our bodies evolved over millions of years, they recognize most synthetic chemicals as toxic invaders. They fight back. This creates a homeostatic rebellion. The system tries to forcefully restore balance, which we experience as severe side effects and iatrogenic toxicity. This aggressive suppression is why medicine has reached a terminal plateau. Currently, 90% of all new synthetic drugs fail in clinical trials. That failure rate is now colliding with a firm financial deadline. By the end of the decade, the industry faces a $400 billion drop-off, known as Patent Cliff 2.0. Legacy blockbusters lose their exclusivity, a revenue evaporates. We are pouring billions of dollars into forcing the human body into submission, while often ignoring the underlying causes of the diseases we are trying to treat. 15 years ago, a researcher named Boris Markosian recognized that this model was reaching its limit. He realized that to actually cure disease, we had to stop inventing harder chemical hammers and instead learn how to speak the body's native language. Markosian's work began in the clinics of UCSD Moores Cancer Center and Genentech. There, he studied how mammalian tissues could direct the immune system, observing the complex mechanisms cells use to evade detection. As detailed at the top of this timeline, he secured an international patent in 2011 for a novel cancer vaccine based on placental therapy, founding his first company, Vaccenta Biotechnologies. But mapping a single therapeutic pathway revealed a larger issue. The traditional silos of biological research were too narrow to solve complex, systemic human diseases. To understand the entire system, he moved beyond the biology lab. He immersed himself in computer science engineering and data analytics, taking roles at Google and the USC Keck School of Medicine. Looking at this matrix, you can see how his philosophical model shifted. Exposure to massive digital networks taught him to stop viewing the human body as a deterministic machine with levers to pull and start treating it as a highly complex, self-regulating software network. By merging the algorithmic logic required to process global data with deep clinical immunology, he developed the exact perspective needed to rewrite biological code. Returning to fundamental biology, he took a position managing laboratories at the Salk Institute, surrounded by some of the most advanced research on the planet. Yet the academic environment heavily prioritized securing grants and publishing papers over producing tangible treatments for patients suffering today. Needing a commercial proof of concept, he departed academia. In 2020, he founded Placenta Products LLC to engineer the first over-the-counter placental supplement in the United States, called Vitamin Placenta. To do this safely, he had to build a manufacturing pipeline with extreme rigor, securing strict US GMP and ISO 17025 certifications for a product class that had never existed in the country. As shown in the commercial proof of concept section here, this generated 6 years of longitudinal data. By tracking thousands of consumers globally, the company confirmed these specific placental matrices are accepted by the body, without the rejection typically seen in synthetic drugs. This data established the baseline safety foundation required to move from consumer supplements into a new class of pharmaceutical medicine. As outlined in this structural map, Markosian founded Instructional Biology Inc. in February 2026 to bridge the gap between legacy pharmaceutical failure and a new biological operating system. The company introduced a categorical shift in methodology called the thermosensitive peptidome. By extracting delicate signaling proteins without destroying them with heat, they created the foundation for instructional medicine. Instead of suppression, this approach delivers natively folded biological blueprints, proteins with a specific three-dimensional syntax that docks with target receptors with absolute structural homology. Once docked, they deliver instructions. They tell the WNT pathway to activate stem cells, or they modulate the HPA axis to build stress resilience. They trigger the body's natural repair networks without initiating a toxic rebellion. This comparison chart outlines the enormous regulatory advantage. Because these signals are structurally homologous to what the human body already uses, they bypass the high safety attrition rates that bankrupt legacy drugs, moving from discovery to market in just 3 years. To scale this, iBio uses a system shown here in the blue loop called ASAP, an AI platform that matches these extracted biological blueprints to specific human ailments. The system has already mapped over 220 distinct disease indications, creating a perpetual discovery engine for new treatments. After 15 years of relentless interdisciplinary engineering, we finally have the tools to stop fighting our biology. By supplying the exact biochemical language our cells use to communicate, we can simply instruct the human body how to heal itself. 130 distinct disease indications are ready for the clinic. A single inventor has engineered the obsolescence of the pharmaceutical status quo. And the window to participate in the replacement is closing. The chemical era is over. The biological blueprint has arrived.